Hi everybody, I'm Mary Gawlik. I teach tiles here at Greenbelt. I'm going to show you two ways to roll a slab and some ways to handle things. First, you're going to cut a slice off of your brick, okay? And I recommend maybe for a reasonable size slab 1 inch, okay? Now we have a square. If you put this in the slab roller, it's not going to get wider, it's going to get longer. So if I put this in the slab roller, I'm going to end up with a slab that's a big long rectangle. If I want it to be more of a square, then I can just slam my clay on the board and stretch it out a little bit to make it a little bit wider. And then that way, when it goes through the slab roller, it will be a little more of a, now this was a small brick. Most of you will be working on rectangular bricks, and I recommend that you cut a long rectangle and then widen it out a little bit more. So we take our piece of clay, we go over to the slab roller. We're going to put it on the canvas side of the blanket, not the vinyl. If you put it on the vinyl, you'll never get it back off. The canvas side of the vinyl, put the other one on top with the canvas on the clay. Wedge it in between the rollers so that you have both blankets going up into the rollers a little bit. I don't know why this is not moving on me. Come on. Okay, there we go. Here, if you want to take a peek, is the measurement that shows you how thick your slab is going to be. I recommend for tiles, it be about 3/8 of an inch. And you want to have it a little bit higher. It's about 3/8 of an inch, and that will account for the blankets too. Okay? When we're ready, we're going to pull it toward us, never away, toward us, pull the wheel, and the blankets will start to go through. You can help it through to start it a little bit. Once it grabs, it will go on its own. You can see it coming out the other side. Pull it all the way. Now, when you're doing tiles, critical that you do not bend your slab ever, okay? So that's why when we peel the blanket off, we do it carefully so we don't pull up on the clay. Now, how do we get it off the blanket so that we can get it on a wear board? We don't want to lift up, it'll bend the slab. So we just carefully slide the wear board under the slab. Now you never put clay directly on a wear board. So we'll put a piece of newspaper over the clay. We'll put a second wear board on top. Now this is a little awkward part, but you can do it. Put your hand underneath the bottom wear board, hold firmly, and flip, okay? Pull the blanket off carefully. Now we have our clay on a wear board. Ta-da! Now, if it's important to keep our slab flat, so we're going to put another piece of newspaper on top and another wear board on top. That will keep it very firm and flat. If you want to store your clay so it can get leather hard, which I recommend because you don't want to cut a tile now, it'll be too stretchy. Put a piece of big plastic over the whole wear board, lift up on the wear board and wrap it underneath on the sides and then around the top and on the bottom. Now you're all wrapped up and ready to go. It will stay moist, but it will also get a little bit stiff with that newspaper sucking the moisture out, okay? Now, if you want to roll a slab without the slab roller, like at home, get a piece of plywood or another piece of wood. I recommend no bigger than 24 by 24 because it's too hard to handle otherwise. Cover it with a piece of canvas. I used an industrial stapler to put the canvas on the back and staple it on. Now, remember, we have to get our clay onto the wearboard, right? So, what I'm going to recommend is that you get another piece of cloth. This is kind of lightweight for this purpose. The heavier you can go, the better. And a piece of canvas would be fine. Wrap it around underneath your board. If you need some extra holding power, get yourself some bulldog clips and clip it on. Okay. Put your clay on your mat. I'm going to trim this up just a hair so that I don't end up with a huge slab. Okay. Now we're going to take a rolling pin and roll it out. If you want your clay to be uniform in thickness, put 2 pieces of wood on either side so that the rolling pin can't go beyond them. And start to roll your slab. It helps if you turn the board and roll from different directions. It helps to compress the clay. Now, this is a little thicker than I really want, but for the sake of time, I'm not going to keep rolling, but you could, okay? We're ready to transfer it now to a wearboard. So same idea, we put the newspaper on top of the clay, we put the wearboard on top of this, and this is the reason why you don't want your rolling board to be too big. You got to be able to flip it. Take your board off, take your blanket off. Now this is the bottom of our slab. So we will put a wearboard on top and we'll flip it back over. And now when we lift this up, we have the top of our slab again. So that's how you roll slabs 2 different ways, okay? And you could wrap this again in plastic if you wanted to get leather hard. Next video will be how to manage your wearboards and your slabs. So stay tuned.